Hello there. I'm going to be, as well as running DCT through the various playlists, I'm going to be sharing more spontaneous transmissions through this year. And the reason for that is because, well, there's a few reasons, but the primary one is that there is a very strong singular signal that is coming through, not just for me. I believe this is happening all over the world. In fact, it may also be happening to you. You may think that you're the only one or that you're going a little crazy or, you have gifts that you can't explain. It's simply this. We are entering into a time period where the frequency fence around the planet is naturally thinning. That's for a couple of reasons. The first one is the powers that should not be, the elites, whoever, however you want to define that. And there's plenty of people out there that will tell you who those folks are and present evidence. That's up to you to determine. We're not here to judge that space. But those who are in charge are beginning to lose grip on their power. And we are moving out of an old world order. Indeed, it's been very well documented that we are moving away from the post-war, post-World War II world order, governed by the United Nations, the League of Nations before that, and that is ruled by consensus. And we're seeing that that power balance is shifting now in terms of different hemispheres are going to have different powers dominate those areas. But these are all signs that the old order itself, the old hierarchical order, is about to crumble and break down. Now, we have all spoken about shifting and the change. Some of us believe in the ascension, rapture. We're going through a period that is the transition period after Kali Yuga. And if you don't know about Kali Yuga, I would suggest that you look up Bibhu Dev Misra's wonderful work. He's got a book out about the end of the Kali Yuga, what that means. I'm not going to get into that here. But essentially, we've come out of one epoch, and that epoch was governed by certain things. And now we're in this transition period, and it's a time of great change, upheaval. In some sense, we would say purification, a return to the deep human values that we all hold that are God-given, not religious, but spiritually, metaphysical inheritance. And we're moving into unknown territory. I mean, not really. We've done this type of dance before, but many, many thousands and thousands of years ago. It's just that we're back here now at this convergence point. So you've got a few factors going on. The second point is that the Earth is in a different location. So the Earth is constantly moving on her orbit, not just that way, but actually on her grand orbit. And when she reaches where we currently are in space, we're less incubated from cosmic forces. We're less sheltered, shrouded, cloistered from activating codes that are pulsed out from the center of the cosmos. The cosmos itself is a living, breathing thing. And so we're all affected by that. So you've got that, and you've also got the powers that should not be are releasing or having their grip on us released. And what a lot of us, just ordinary people all over the world, are kind of scratching their heads and realizing is that we don't have to live in a world of constant war. We don't have to buy the lies anymore, the propaganda, the BS, quite frankly, that put our children in the front lines of endless wars. Scarcity is a lie. There is more than enough resources on this planet to give every single man, woman, and child on this planet a really good life in harmony with the ecosystems. We have the ability, we've had it for 120 years to produce free energy. We humans, not we, the nine, we humans. And we've sat on that. Humans have sat on that. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. I think we're going to say what the correct terms are. So humans, certain elements in human society for 120 years have lived in a breakaway civilization. So there's a two-tier civilization. One is the civilization that we're all currently experiencing now, in its various renditions all over the world, which is pretty low tech, relying on fossil fuels and things that degrade the planet and create scarcity and generate lots of money for certain individuals. And what has been suppressed or hidden and is now, I believe, coming to light. This is going to be a huge revelation, and that is that there have been technologies, techniques, power sources that have been hidden, deliberately hidden from us to keep us enslaved, to keep us in a debt system. This is not how Earth life is meant to be lived at all. And so we're waking up to that. And I think we're coming to a point where we're going to insist that that technology is released for the betterment of the planet, for the betterment of all living things, our oceans, our skies, our land, and that those big corporations, those massive money-making institutions, organizations are going to fall. They must fall because their profits are predicated on scarcity, suffering, and exploitation. So with that said, we're going head on into this storm of Pam Gregory sums it up really beautifully and concisely. And if you don't know of her, she's an astrologer. Make sure you get to her official channel on YouTube, Pam Gregory. She's certainly been a mentor and a friend for me, and she's an amazing luminary, a woman of light. I call her the Lady of the Light. In fact, the nine regard her very, very highly. She speaks of this time. She's been speaking about this particular time for a few years as a time of revolution and revelation. So whenever there's a revelation, whenever there's the ground swelling up where people just can't take it anymore, they can't take the oppression in whatever form that is experienced by them. Remember, different communities, different nationalities, different peoples are going to experience their oppression differently. It's not going to be one blanket of oppression. And I think the trick is that we don't get pushed into them versus us fighting each other and instead look up and look out and see what the deep state, the elites are actually doing behind the scenes. So Pam Gregory, a good person to follow. She talks about revelations, revolutions, and my goodness me, have we not just spent a few days or a few hours looking at two already? Going to timestamp this. This is January of 2026. Have we not already just seen two big occurrences? Um, it's going to get. It's just beginning. It really is just beginning. So what we wanted to share with you today is that ultimately this is your process and we don't interfere. We observe prime directive. However, we do know that others do interfere and they meddle and they provide an unfair advantage to certain groups, certain elites, certain people. And so we wish um, to support humanity in exposing that. Now, the technology that we previously spoke about, that it's a grade one civilization that is actually in existence on planet Earth today, except most of us don't have access to it. It exists. There's a really interesting video called The Lost Century by Dr. Stephen Greer. He goes in extreme detail around the technologies that were deliberately suppressed. And we would add to that World War One was an engineered distraction that caused an enormous schism in the collective psyche and interrupted what would have been a very fast developing technological society. And we would be in a very utopian, not perfect, because it takes time to perfect, but we would be in a more utopian um, planet, society, global society now, if World War One had not been deliberately engineered by a very few people, and they would like to engineer more world wars. So, number one, we say to you, do not allow propaganda to land anymore. When you hear something, when something is presented to you, especially when it's presented to you on every single channel, no matter what the political or the ideological perspective of that channel is. And I'm talking about news channels, mainstream, but also independent news stream channels. If they're all saying the same thing, then this is not the truth. It's a really easy way to know that this is a propaganda. This is a psyop. And so we say to you, one of the easiest things to do to interrupt, to disrupt the planting of this mind worm, this brain worm that makes us act in certain ways and triggers us as humans, is to simply say maybe, that one word, maybe, no matter what you see, no matter what you read, no matter what you hear, even if it's right in front of you. Because remember, you're only seeing what's right in front of you. The technology is very sophisticated, deep fakes, holographic implants. It's all real. It's actual. You can look those things up. They're happening. And so yeah, maybe. Number one, just say maybe. I don't know, maybe. And what maybe does is maybe keeps your critical mind alert to being open to the idea that maybe it isn't true what I'm being told. Maybe there's another reason for this. So that's number one, maybe. Number two, what is really going on that's perhaps much more important that is being covered up and they don't want you to know about it. Now, this other thing can appear less dramatic, less shiny, less novel, um, but it's important. And that could be a law being passed. That could be well, it could be all kinds of things. I can't give you 10 examples, but see what is changing in the legislature and in your perhaps in your military, your governments. Just see what's happening on the back burner or in the quiet. Um, get in touch with people that follow passing of laws, inquiries, any the publication of otherwise classified information. They bury the truth in plain sight. The elites, like to tell you what they're going to do, or they like to put out what they've done in front of you, but in such a way that you're distracted and it's too complicated and you don't take any notice. So number two, what are they trying to distract you from? And the third thing is, and this is probably the most important thing, as this appears right now, and I'm talking about an event, a dramatic event, something huge or something pretty shocking. Who profits from me being unsettled, triggered, upset, confused, and in fear? Who profits ultimately from me and everybody else losing our minds out of fear? And just go within and trust your resonance. So, you know, get used to now, while it's still relatively stable, get used to going offline and going inline, going within, listening to yourself, grounding yourself. And this is why we practice in this community DCT, deep coherence technique. But there are many other grounding, mindful techniques and practices out there, and we're all converging. So when we all practice what we practice, we are creating alternative waves of coherence. And that's why we don't need to get really caught up in personalities or influences or teachers or pathways. We're in the realm of waves now. This is a war of the waves. And they want your waves. They want your waveforms. They want your frequency to drop down into fear, guilt, shame, hatred. Because when you're in those lower vibrations, you're much easier to control. But there's strength in numbers, but there's also strength in the I am. which is eternal and infinite and will never leave you. And use that as your compass. So, as I said, there will be more transmissions coming out. And I acknowledge that I'm one voice out of, thankfully, millions and millions of people doing this. And if there's one idea that I can leave you with, it is this. Just because the highly advanced beings out there who are watching this space right now don't land on the White House lawn with big fanfare on offer to save the day. Just because they don't do that, it doesn't mean they don't care, because they do. That they understand Prime Directive, the first law, and they understand what free will means. This is our show, humans' show. This is up to us to get right. But what they do want to share with you is that you are beloved, not just loved, not just cared for. You are beloved, and not as possessions, not as lesser beings. You are beloved as equals in this vast galactic spectrum of families. So, so feel that and know that they are always there gently and softly supporting you. And I believe this is why DCT came through at this time. So use discernment. And as that saying goes, may you live in interesting times. I think we are living in interesting times. So thank you to all the way showers that are currently supporting this mass movement. I want to say of lucidity, of waking up to the scam. We're waking up to the scam. And we're waking up to the scam artists. So stay in love and light, stay grounded, keep your eyes and ears open, and know that everything is not as it first appears. I will speak to you guys again soon. And please leave comments. I'd love to hear what you're feeling, what's coming up for you at this time.